I want to start this video in a very Nagarjuna kind of way. Nagarjuna solo. Hi, hello, namaskar, adab, nenu mi Maruti Acharya.
Nenu Sanjay Ponnappa.
And we just completed watching one of the most anticipated film of 2025, that is Kubera.
Yes.
Sekhar Kammula's Kubera, starring Dhanush, Nagarjuna, Rashmika Mandanna, music by DSP, art design by Tota Tarni sir, cinematography by Niket Bhumi. First one word lo cheppu, nachinda nachaleda? గట్లా చెప్పాలంటే
అంత నచ్చలేదు.
ఓకే,
కొంచెం లాగ్ ఉంది
కానీ బాగుంది.
కానీ బాగుంది కాదు,
దట్ ఈస్ మై వన్ లైన్. లాగ్ ఉంది కానీ బాగుంది.
లాగ్ ఉంది, అంత
బాగాలేదు.
బాగాలేదు. ఆనా ధనుష్ కాగా పడం పారంగా.
Yes, again we are not here to mock any language, guys. I hope you understand.
I am trying. I'm not
we are
mocking,
learning
really
and
trying.
we are trying to make
Karnataka,
content
if you
different.
haven't realized already.
I think they did. And also, before getting into the review, we went to theater to watch Raja Saab teaser and reacted from the theater itself. If you didn't check that video, what are you doing? That video is also on the channel. I'll put the link in the description and comment section. Don't miss to check that out. But after this review, okay?
My experience watching the film in the first half and second half was very different. The first half I was very disappointed. The second half I was somewhat connected with the film and happy with whatever happened. The second half was a lot faster than the first half is what I'd say.
Tell audience to Poira, you can still watch the film.
Okay.
So that is how I will explain the film. The film is not up to at least my expectations for sure. I was really sitting through the first half, the whole build up and everything. But second half kinda had some moments where I genuinely felt let down. But still, it's not a passable film for the themes, for the performance. There are so many merits in the film for which you can definitely go and watch it in theaters.
I'd say the biggest plus point of the film is Dhanush. Film actually starts when Dhanush enters the screen. Until then, they are trying to set up. It's a bit of a lag. Dhanush's performance is what is the anchor in the film. Around him, all the other performances also starts boosting.
Correct.
But other than that, whenever he's not on the screen, it also falls just as flat, which is why I'd say that Dhanush is the biggest merit in this film and his talent, man. I remember talking to you about where was this? This wasn't Ryan. Ryan was a whole different guy.
Correct.
That eyes, he transforms his eyes with each film he does, and that is so freaking impressive.
I was expecting this one classic Sekhar Kammula scene where there is, confrontation. There is a similar scene in Leader where an old man confronts Chief Minister in that movie. So that scene is a very iconic scene. In this movie also there is this one iconic scene where Dhanush asks a very important questions. What do you think? Only your lives matter? Only the 10,000 elite people lives matter? Are we not visible? My God, Dhanush performance. We have seen Dhanush giving so many intense performances, but with Kubera, it is very special. And it is also special not just because Dhanush, especially that scene, it is also because Sekhar Kammula. That is a classic Sekhar Kammula scene, staging and execution. Not just that one scene, in movements,
there are
with
moments.
the idea, with the themes, that the way he was trying to build up to the themes and explain from the writing perspective, the movie really shines. It has nice plot points, nice conversations, nice situations, and the impact also genuinely, especially from the writing perspective, it really lands. But from screenplay and direction perspective is where this movie is not completely a Sekhar Kammula film.
I partly agree with what you say, because in terms of writing, the story that is written has merits, but the screenplay that is written doesn't have. It's not just what is transcended on the screen. I wouldn't say that it's the mistake of what has come on screen. The visual is not just the problem. I feel like the problem in the writing exists right from the time they were writing the screenplay, because I feel like there were portions which was really well written, but there was equally portions which was really terribly written. If you're not considering logic as an element in the film, that should be consistent throughout the film, and it should be conveyed that logic is not the point of this film. But there are moments and scenes where there is patch cuts just to make sure that the logic is conveyed to the audience, especially in places where I think it was not even required. That was understandable. But there are places where this one little 2-second scene is required, and that is just skipped.
So I have a difference of opinion here, but before that I will talk about another strength of the film, which is music and cinematography. Technically, other than editing, everything looks really good, on point, beautiful. Tota Tarni sir's art design, Devi Sri Prasad's music, especially background score. Poira Poira song, I think I was expecting it to be a banger, and then Dhanush, the whole setup, it really
With
worked.
Dhanush's voice, it's just
Yeah,
good.
and Niket Bummi's cinematography also, beautiful frames. You just get transported, and it is so fresh to see naturally looking locations, you know, gorilla camera work happening.
I mean, yeah, some of
Yeah.
them. You can see the contrast between when they are being Kuberas really,
Yeah.
and when, you know, they're just
Exactly.
the
The
other
whole
side.
world building,
Yeah.
everything is done on point. But yeah, coming back to what he said, I feel considering watching entire Sekhar Kammula's filmography and seeing the merit in terms of writing, I still feel writing was very solid. But scenes, when they're executed from screenplay perspective and on the edit table, I feel like scenes went missing. I don't think they missed shooting the scenes. I think they didn't make it to the final cut. Again, that's still a drawback. But I feel like it's not the writing because there are some dots missing, but there is another dot here.
Right.
So for you to reach this dot, there is this dot that should definitely be written. If not, you'll not reach this position. It's just that on the edit, this dot is missing. So it feels like disjointed scenes, especially in terms of edit, right? I am a little frustrated because the transition from scene to scene is so abrupt. So many scenes, not just one scene. Suddenly it cuts here. It feels like a lot of missing chunks are there in the film. It's very shabby, very choppy. I have a huge complaint with the editing in this film. It's just going randomly. Okay, this scene is done now. Let's put this scene, this scene, this scene.
This is why the film was being, at least they were trying to delay it a little
Yeah.
more because of, you know, these fine tuning that were very required in
Very
the
much
film.
required.
Bringing the beggar's theme and the way it was introduced as them being very innocent, if you know what I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
in the bigger context of the
Yeah.
story. Do you really think that is how, you know, away from reality in today's day beggars are in today's time?
Okay, so
I feel like that is the first place where we have to compromise with what the director is trying to say because
Correct.
that is a little far away from reality in my perspective.
correct. So, Sanjay, my opinion for this is sometimes you write themes, build characters around it, and then build a story. That is one way of building it. Second thing is you find the characters and build themes and stories to connect them. This feels like they had the themes, so they brought in characters into it, but the characters actually lack depth. It was a very good question that you asked. I actually feel with Nagarjuna character, no, there is a big disservice that writers have done to the character because every decision, motive, you are not genuinely connected with the character.
And he is he's a very reputed guy.
Exactly.
Right,
Like
so-
everything feels like a very heavy build-up which doesn't have the depth which it requires. So characters are the emphasis was more on themes. That is why you feel like, you know, black, white. There's
Right.
not a lot of grey in the film. There's a lot of black and white in the film, which I genuinely didn't like.
And the disconnect comes when there is, you know, paying ode to the modern day, whatever developments has happened, basically even demonetization, and after demonetization, the very recent
2000 rupee
2000 rupee note that
Correct.
has been discontinued, and all of that is addressed in the film. So when they are so modern, you think that technology hasn't really reached the ones who are, you know, unable to get their own source
Again,
of
there is a
income.
lot of cinematic liberty,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't have a problem if it was communicated convincingly. And from a directions perspective also, I am kind of a little underwhelmed because staging and blocking of some scenes feels very serial and old school, which I was not expecting from Sekhar Kammula. Performances are intense, but the scene looks like a very normal scene from a staging perspective. So these kind of hiccups are also definitely there. But again, Dhanush performance, Sekhar Kammula's brilliant themes and the way he wanted to discuss them, and some emotional movements between all the characters are really good. But if you want a very in-depth character displayed roles like his previous filmography or impactful storytelling, I think Kubera might disappoint you a little.
If you're a fan of his performances, this film is definitely for you because as soon as he comes on the screen, he takes over the film and then his performance becomes very enjoyable. Apart from that, there is good themes, and from the second half, the entertainment quotient also rises because of a good banter between him and Rashmika.
Yeah.
I feel like Rashmika has also done a really good job
Yeah.
in this film. She kind of elevates the film because she brings in that entertainment factor
Yes.
with Dhanush. Right, Dhanush is, you know, leading the entertainment, but with her comes it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that little chemistry over there of whatever relationship
Yeah.
they shared was really nice in the film. Nagarjuna, it is
Yeah.
a little underwhelming. to be actually blunt about it, because his scenes didn't really land. Like he said, there was major staging issues in those scenes, especially in Nagarjuna sir's
Yeah.
scenes, and that is something that I'd like to point out here. We definitely recommend this for at least for all of you to go to the theaters and
Yeah.
watch it once. This is definitely recommended. So if you thought after watching the trailer that you want to watch this film, do go to the theaters, watch it, and come back, let us know what you felt about the film.
Also, the recently released Raja Saab teaser, we went to theater and did a reaction from there. It was a unique attempt. The video is on the channel. If you didn't check it out, don't forget to check it out. And there's a lot of content. Go give it a shot. Analysis videos and all of that. With that, this is Maruti Acharya,
I am Sanjay Ponnappa.
and you're watching India Today So South.